less is more, the least intuitive one, in my opinion. So first concept here is the dilution effect. It's basically how we process and analyze arguments isn't some. We don't take the best ones. We just average them. It's easier. So use fewer arguments better. A couple examples of this that I liked. This is HubSpot's product page. It keeps it really simple, hits the most important features without overwhelming. And speaking of overwhelming, here is one reason why SEO means Google and not MSN. This is 2004 MSN's homepage and 2002 Google's homepage. Okay, next concept here is the peak end rule. This is how what we remember from an experience is not an average or a sum of the whole thing. It's mostly constructed from the peak and the end. And to a couple of examples here. This is Zapier's upgrade flow. You get the little confetti and celebration when you finish, which is fun. The anti-example here, any Game of Thrones fans, for the most part, is an excellent series, but it's not remembered that way. And finally, Virgin Atlantic, who hacks this rule pretty blatantly by giving away candy when the flight lands. Okay, a couple more concepts here. So first one is the Zagnarik Effect. Put simply, we're wired to remember things that are incomplete. We easily forget things that are already complete. And outside of in-product user flows, this often manifests in information gaps. Now, I'm going to introduce one more potentially seemingly unrelated concept here, the levels of processing model. The basic idea is that our cognition processes things first visually, then verbally, and then semantically, which is to say conceptually and understanding. Visual and verbal are most often on autopilot as we go about the world. Semantic is most often not on autopilot. It takes dedicated effort. And to get into long-term memory, you need semantic processing. Now, that's why information gaps are such an effective tool to increase memory. We can't help but to try to fill in the blanks, which requires semantic processing. So let's look at a couple examples of this, and a few might require stretching. So be ready for that. Here we go. First one is pubic schools. Is that effective marketing? Probably not. Is it memorable? Definitely. A couple copy examples. Here we fill in the gaps effortlessly, which gives the copy some extra zip, and it forces us to do a little bit of work as we read it. And then the missing type campaign. So these started to pop up everywhere. This was a blood drive for missing types of blood. And it was one of the most successful blood drives ever. In a month, they more than doubled the prior year's total numbers. So takeaways, short is sweet. Be direct, get to the point, and get folks to the end quickly. And here's Canva's homepage and Shopify's homepage. And design the end that you want them to remember, not the end that they end up remembering because they left and it was boring. I think a good example is my former employer, Amazon's customer service. And find ways to delight in your selling motion. It'll outweigh the not so delightful stuff. And an example from my own past is at Sam Labs, is an education tech company. But when customers signed, we'd send them this little blocky plush toy. It's our little mascot all over the site and in the product. And it's just a little way to hopefully bring a smile to their face and make it easy to remember us and hopefully talk about us. And then provoke thought without increasing the friction. You give folks enough to get them in the right direction, but let them fill in the white space. And another canonical example here, this is the first major ad campaign that Steve Jobs orchestrated at Apple. So there's a lot going on here. It's like 9 pages, super detailed. But then he left Apple and went to Pixar for a little bit. But when he came back, he launched this campaign, which still lives in infamy today.